Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, today I have for you from J-Star this, which is supposed to be a B17 Flying Fortress. So anyway, usual format, 60-second speed build, some pics, and then we'll get into the review. So let's crack on and build. Welcome back. So, the B17 by J-Star. Well, we have an instructions book, which is so much better than a printed sheet. It's okay. It does at least have a parts list at the back, which I always find quite useful. And it's reasonable. It will get you through. There's a few head scratching moments in there where it's not particularly clear where you're putting one flat plate on another flat plates, but it's better than a printed sheet. Now, the model itself, well, glad to know that there is nothing missing and there was no warpage and no discoloration. However, that's pretty much where all the good parts end. I've had this in waiting now for probably about 8-9 months because I really didn't want to do it. When I bought this, it was in the sale, going cheap, and I'd seen the Kobe B17, which was about 120 quid, which looks fantastic. And then this popped up with the B24, the Liberator, at quite a reasonable price. So I thought, let's get these. Oh boy. Now, the build process, it's slightly unusual, but that in itself is not necessarily a criticism, it's just unusual. In that you start with the tailplane and rear fuselage section, then you do the wings, then you do the main section of the fuselage, and then you add it all together. Which most plane models will usually do the fuselage first, then the wings, and then add it together, and occasionally the tailplane last. So that doesn't actually cause any problems or anything like that. So don't need to worry about that as such. But just the overall look of the model is just garbage. It's the only thing that is vaguely recognisable as a B17 is this tailplane. Otherwise, you could just about call it any. Remove the markings, and you could call this anything you wanted. You could call it a Condor, any four-engined heavy bomber. You put somebody else's stickers on that and call this that, and you'd probably get away with it. I have to ask J-Star, though, what's the point of doing a model like this? Because it's not really anything like what the actual B17 was, and therefore it undermines the whole reason to buy the thing in the first place. I mean, yes, a buying decision can be based on how something is built, which is obviously one of the reasons for these particular reviews. Another buying decision can be on the price, particularly if you've got two reasonably similar models from different manufacturers. That can sway you, and there's nothing wrong with that. After all, Kobe do a B17 themselves, which when I last checked was about £120. This comes in at £17.39 landed to the UK, so there is a massive difference in price. And sometimes that will influence your decision, but ultimately you make the decision because you want something to look like the actual thing you're wanting, the model purports to be. And with this purporting to be a B17, it just fails just about everywhere. I mean, really, So I cannot see any logical reason to buy this. And even sometimes, if models are particularly cheap but they're a high piece count, they can be worth getting, not to build as such, but just for the extra bricks to add to your collection. They can be worth it just for that. But as I say, this was £17.39. It's 800 odd bricks. It's not even worth doing it for that. You can pick up models that have a far higher brick count that are half the price of this. So there is I cannot think of a good reason, or even a bad reason, to buy this. It's too complicated for children. It's also a little bit too heavy for a child to do. If you've got poor mobility because of arthritis in the fingers or something like that, again that sort of knocks it out from that. And the only possible thing is you are absolutely desperate for a B17, and you haven't saved enough money up to buy something half decent, and that's it. And to anybody who's wanting a B17, save up, get the Kobe one. I have not built the Kobe one. All I could go on is pictures, but it cannot be worse than this. I mean, certainly in the pictures it looks so much better. Don't buy this, not even for the pieces. And there you go, that's my review of the Joestar B17. It's a big pass on this one, I'm afraid. But hopefully you liked this video, and if you have, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you again. You take care. Bye bye.